In the midst of the pandemic, tonight a Hoosier native is sharing her story about giving back to her community. She created a resource specifically for Black, Indigenous women of color to help them release the stress and trauma they are facing as the pandemic continues and racial tensions remain high. Our Nicole Griffins has her story.
I would just sit in a puddle of tears, just feeling just a sense of hopelessness for the Black community.
In April, as she was quarantined at home with her family, life coach and entrepreneur Katara McCarty felt a need to do something to help.
In the midst of everything that was going on with COVID and how it was impacting the Black community disproportionately, and then all the viral videos started hitting our news feeds, it just felt so heavy for my community.
Grief, pain, fear, all feelings she felt as well. As the pandemic continued on and the deaths of George Floyd and Breonna Taylor made headlines, she decided to create an emotional well-being app called Exhale, specifically for women of color.
We have the regular stressors that everybody else has, but it's compounded when we go out into the world and face racism, we face anti-Blackness, we face microaggressions. And so the meditations speak directly to us and our needs.
During quarantine, McCarty and her daughters worked on the app together. Their voices can be heard throughout during coaching talks and breathing exercises.
Feel the gentle pull of gravity.
She says finally releasing the app feels like a full circle moment because in her eyes, she's giving back to women of color.
I was abandoned and two Black women took me in and raised me. It feels very divine. It feels very much like I'm giving back to the women that gave to me.
Whether a woman takes time to meditate using the Exhale app or just 15 minutes to go through breathing exercises, McCarty hopes it helps them release pain and trauma they face during everyday life.
The impact of the microaggressions, the impact of the racism, the impact of watching our news feed and seeing someone get murdered, right, by the hands of the police, like that is traumatic in itself. And so my hope is that Exhale becomes a resource for Black, Indigenous women of color to manage all of that we're holding, really holding our breath. I want us to exhale.
Working for you, Nicole Griffins, WRTV.
Right now, all of the features on the Exhale app are free until the end of the month. McCarty made the decision to open it for free after watching an interview with Jacob Blake's mother and sister and seeing the pain and trauma they are facing.